And welcome to Advanced Shouting, everybody, alongside Dan Petru, Zach Fulgham, and our trivia champion, Jackie Spiegel, and Noel Fogelman. Don't worry, I'm coming at you later, Jackie.
Questions are much harder this week.
Yeah, I've been working out.
I just want to say now that if I win, I obviously could not let you win on your birthday. That wouldn't be right.
Happy birthday, Noel.
Happy birthday. If I lose, happy birthday. That was your birthday present. So
yeah. So basically, either way, you're the winner. So okay, that works out. Yeah. So we were trying to figure out what to lead with today because there really wasn't much, going on as of yesterday. And then some A1 left a mic open. That's a TV term, and someone lost a job. That's Tim Peel, who
did he leave it open, or did he forget to turn it off?
From what I heard, he was testing the mic and didn't realize they were still on the air. He thought they had gone to commercial break. I can't remember who reported it. Might have been Darren Drager. I can't remember. But somebody reported it that it was an A1 by accident. That guy's got to feel terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen the NHL act as swiftly as they did with this. I mean, usually they'll let, vicious injuries, linger on, Tom Wilson, everything like that. But Tim Peel, they got rid of him. It's quick. Now, do you think this was basically because of the slip? Because everyone knows that there's makeup calls left and right, the refs, how they call the game. Do you think because they let the world know kind of how the secret sauce is made? Or just because the mic was open and he mentioned it?
I think it's just embarrassing for the league that it happened. And it kind of, not to blame Tim Peel, but it kind of made it easy that he was retiring at the end in April anyway.
Right.
So it was almost just okay, well, we're just going to retire you a little early. So I think there's also been a lot of talk online on Twitter about how, because the league is involved in gambling, this obviously, this impacts gambling. And I've seen one or two players mention on Twitter about how what if there's a call against and it takes away their chance of making the playoffs because they give up a goal and they lose the game and then they lose a spot in the playoffs by 1 point, kind of deal. Or the other way around, they score a goal or there's no call and they don't score and then they, the same thing, they miss the playoffs by a point kind of deal. So it's, I think a lot of it had to do with just the embarrassment factor. You're right. Everyone knows this happens.
Right.
Mostly the weird thing was that he was talking to one of the
Philippe Forsberg.
Yeah.
On the bench, yeah.
Yeah, he said that's a crazy thing because he said it to one of the players.
Yeah. Right.
And so Aaron wants to know what the context of the comments were. Though he didn't say it sarcastically. He flat out said to Philip Forsberg of the Preds, hey, yeah, I know it was a marginal call, but we got to even it out. So I got to get you guys in the box early.
Well,
and to actually say that.
They say it was a marginal. I thought it was just that he wanted.
Well, he said it was borderline or something. He said it was yeah, but I got to make a call here.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying, yeah, we keep it even. Where I think Matt Duchene had a really good comment on a Nashville radio show today. He said, well, what if they score in that power play and we lose the game by 1 goal? We miss the playoffs by 1 point. Because every game means something. The points all add up at the end of the year. And for him to admit to basically say, yeah, we try and keep the power plays close regardless of the play on the ice is absurd. And it shouldn't matter. There are going to be nights where one team is taking more penalties than the other because maybe they're tired, maybe they're just not as skilled, so they're trying to grab and clutch and hold. That should not – so at the end of the night, the power play shouldn't always be 4-4. Some nights they're going to be 8-1. And that's what I think everybody's saying here. And we've all known this for years. But for someone to actually say it like that is just absurd. I would like Tim Peel now to go public and say, I'm not the only one that does this. But he probably won't.
No, he probably won't because they probably made some kind of deal that I wouldn't be surprised, because like I said, he was supposed to retire in a month from now. Exactly. The last game. Look, I don't know about you guys, but I've reffed games. It's not that easy. And I think people just make assumptions that it's easy. I think it was either Sheldon Keefe or DJ Smith made a comment today that they have the power of replay. And that is true. They can look down on the bench and they have those iPads and they can see. We have the power of replay whether we're in the press box or we're at home watching the game, which most of the people who do my job are doing now anyway. We're all sitting, at home watching, and we can easily rewatch stuff, or you can even just like pull it back online, So
right.
You remember they're calling it real time, and it's not that easy. It's a very hard job, and that it kind of, if you remember 2 years ago, the Sharks game where the hand pass, where they didn't call it. So I firmly believe that I didn't have an issue with what the refs did in that game, because they were all in their proper positioning, and it's so fast, it's so quick, the hand pass, and people at home were like, "Oh my God, how did they miss this call?" Blah blah. You're watching it like 5 times on a replay before the puck drops again, kind of deal. And I don't think people realize that when you look at the positioning of the referees, if you go through referee training, like they were all in the proper position, and it's not the responsibility of the referee that's above the line. And I think that was part of the issue yesterday, was that Tim Peel made a call from center ice on a play down below the dots.
That's infuriating, especially when the front referee's there and then the back referee makes that call.
So the responsibility was on that referee that was down by the goal line on that hand pass, and he was blocked. Right. It was pretty obvious his play was blocked, but he was in the right spot. So I think that's something that people need to realize, is that you can't really jump on these guys too much. I mean, it's hard. I mean, we know in baseball how hard it is, right? Like the guy blew the perfect game. Yeah. Mistakes happened. The crappy part is that it got caught on a live mic. Maybe he shouldn't be saying that, he wanted to call on purpose. That's not great. Yeah, the whole thing is interesting. Surprised that the NHL made the swift move that they did. But like I said, I do think there was an embarrassment factor.
Yeah. Now, do you think, like the NBA, you can challenge fouls?
Right.
Do you think the NBA or the NHL should kind of go to that route? I know you can challenge offsides and some sort of goalie interference, which is, a very, very weird rule as well. Do you think they should actually give the team maybe 1 or 2 challenges per game to a challenge a penalty?
There are certain penalties that can be reviewed, like headshots and things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, I think that takes away from baseball, the whole challenge thing now anyway. Like I hate sitting there at a game waiting for them to call New York and decide if a play was he tagged or was he not tagged, kind of deal. I kind of like the human element of sports. I think that's what makes it so special. It's been going on for 100 years, you know what I mean? Kind of deal. It's always been this way. I'm a staunch traditionalist when it comes to a lot of sports. It comes to a lot of things in sports. Yeah. I was also someone who was not very happy when they got rid of the 2-line pass, but whatever. But
oh God,
you must be fun at parties. Yeah. I'm gonna respectfully disagree with Jackie, because we played hockey together, and I know she'll spear me, and I'm still. So I will respectfully disagree, and I will just say this: you have the technology to get it right. Let's get it right. So maybe you need a third official in the stands that's watching the plays that can call down to the ref saying, "Hey, you should look at this one." Something that's quick. Something it's like, for example, a stick could accidentally hit somebody. You can make an official can call a play where the wrong stick hits the player. And he gets hit with his own stick or someone else's stick, and you think it's the opposing team, and next thing you know, there's a power play. I just think if you have the technology, find a way to do it and get it right as quick as possible.
So do you think every penalty should be reviewed on like the iPads?
I think you should have a third party, another referee looking at the play, because by the time, if you have a delayed penalty, it's usually 10, 15 seconds before that penalty is called. You should be able to have a good idea of whether or not it's a penalty.
Right, absolutely. Now, do you think
that's what they do? That's what they do in EPL with the goal line review. If it's right on the goal and play keeps going on, they'll stop. They'll get into the referee's ear, stopping the game, saying, "Hey, it went in. We need to, to reset."
That happens in the NHL also.
Yeah, and plus it's soccer, so that's probably 1 goal every 4 games.
No, that's not true. That's the Sabres.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll get to the Sabres in a sec, but
I just think if you have the technology, use it correctly, do it as quick as possible. And one of the other things maybe we could talk about too is the game keeps getting faster, younger, but the referees aren't exactly younger, faster,
Again,
faster,
older,
faster.
older.
Exactly. So maybe you have to do something at that level too to get some I don't want to say more athletic, but just referees that can handle the quicker pace of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that.
As long as Wes McCauley stays.
Listen,
Yeah,
exactly.
we clone Wes McCauley because he can do it.
Yeah,
that's a definite. But yeah, I mean, like, I think it would have been interesting if it was someone like him that was caught on a mic saying it, or somebody else, just not someone who's literally retiring in a month, to see what the. In my opinion, maybe he should have gotten a suspension for a week.
I think that's what would have happened with any other referee. I think since he's just leaving, he's like, you know what, just go and end it now. But do you think now?
We don't know his side of it. He could have just been like, you know what?
Whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm retiring. I don't care.
Yeah. So, we don't know his side of it, so.
Yeah.
I would like to hear from him, though. I hope he has some kind of,
Yeah. No, that's one thing we should be able to hear from, regardless, are the officials.
Agreed. They should have to talk to the media after every game.
We need transparency with this. Now, do you think, well, since this actually came out, the microscope be on the refs even more to call a fair game? And, a penalty in the first period should be a penalty in the third and overtime, which is never the case.
Yeah, that will never happen.
Right. Yeah, Connor McDavid wants you to call the rule book.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like the NFL. A penalty called in the fourth will never be called in the first.
Here's the thing, though. Remember, like, literally every shift there can be a penalty. Like, stuff happens on pretty much every shift. My thing is, personally, my opinion on penalties is if it impedes a goal from happening, it should definitely be called. If it's a dangerous play, meaning obviously like it could injure someone, it should be called. If you just like, we've seen calls where you just like whack you hit him on the pad real quick just so he knows you're there. Like that's called. Like that's I think there has to be. It would be too hard to call like everything, in my opinion, and it would slow the games down, and there would be power plays up, craziness, and I don't know. It would be interesting to see like what happens now. I do agree, Zach, though. I think like there could be a microscope with the refs now. I don't know how many refs are going to want to have the mics on anymore.
Yeah, right. Turn your mic off.
Right. Yeah, I mean.
But that Peel could have just looked at the he could have just looked at the penalty box. The light would have been red. He would have known if they were in commercial or not.
Yeah.
That's common sense. Look at the light. If the light's red, they're in commercial.
The light goes on saying that they're going to commercial. There's no way of knowing when, like, because they play, then they roll their bump, so then they roll their bump out. So like, the light goes on, meaning that they're going to break, and then they roll their bump. So they were rolling the bump.
Ice crew comes out.
Say again.
Or if the ice crew comes out to get all the snow off the ice, it's automatically.
I just shouldn't have said that to a player. That's the craziest thing about that. I could see him saying it to another ref. Just saying it to a player on the team he called the penalty on is just amazing.
Right. Yeah. I actually got a interesting story. There was a ref spoke to like a group of NHL broadcasters in the 90s and said that he was calling a perfect game, meaning no penalties. And then Mario Lemieux, of all people, was on a breakaway, got pulled down, didn't call it because he didn't want to give up his perfect game. Mario Lemieux. It's not like it's Brian Dumoulin or something like that.
They aren't the story. Like that's the thing. Just call the rule book.
Call
and I know they don't consistently, or depending on what time of the game it is, but just call the rule book.
Yeah, that's in every sport. Strike zones. The way they call pass interference in the NFL. Just there's some referees and officials that make it about them.
Exactly. It shouldn't. We shouldn't even know who the officials are.
Exactly. And then we don't want to crap on them because 99% of the time they do a great job.
Correct.
Except Angel Hernandez, of course, who it's amazing he still has a job, and that's pretty much why there's instant replay in baseball because of Angel Hernandez. So, but he's another story. I guess we got to talk about this team right now, who, since we spoke about them last week,
it's become a Sabres podcast.
Exactly. They still didn't win a game, and that is the Buffalo Sabres. Who now their losing streaks at 14, and they're inching closer to that all-time record. Ironically, their opponent tonight, the Pittsburgh Penguins, at 18. So they're currently losing right now. It's 2-1. So it could reach 15 after tonight. How can you help the Sabres right now?
Jackie, go ahead. We've had everyone else on trying to fix them. Your turn.
Yeah.
I got something.
I said it last week that they there's no moving Jack Eichel from this team.
Right.
That's 100% a non-negotiable in my book. Right, he's your lone superstar. Yes, you have your Rasmus Dahlin. Yes, you have Jeff Skinner, but they are not the pulse of this team. And he is a superstar. He almost won the Hart Trophy. He could have been a Hart Trophy guy last year
if they could make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, that's that. I mean,
or win a game. Or win a game.
Last year was my first year voting, and I'm very.
Yeah, you do vote. That's right. That's right. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, we're totally gonna have you around for award seasons then.
So, obviously, last year I didn't vote for him because I'm a firm believer that what makes you valuable is make your team making the playoffs. Now, granted, I did have Leon, and I did have Connor McDavid, and I did have Panarin. And you have to remember, last year we were voting before we even knew technically was in the playoffs because we voted in June before we even knew that the NHL was 100% coming back. So, and it was bubble hockey, and it was all craziness. So. I had Panarin number 1 last year because I did think that if the season had continued as normal, the Rangers probably would have been the 8th spot or just missed the playoffs by a point or two because they were kind of on a little bit of a tear at the end there. I mean, remember, Mika Zibanejad had a 5-goal game literally 4 days before the NHL shut down. So, but anyway, that's to talk about last year. But I do think Jack Eichel cannot be moved. I think they have, and I think I said it last week too when we chatted a few minutes before I put in Ria, but that they haven't had a good goalie since Ryan Miller, and they need goaltending. They're a team that needs to basically burn down this roster.
Now,
and I don't know Don Granato. I don't know his history too well, so I can't really comment on that. But I do think that there is enough good coaches out there right now. They need a hard coach. They need a guy that's going to come in. And, I mean, look, let's be honest. When was the last great coach they had there? Lindy Ruff, probably, right?
Probably, right.
So, and what kind of coach was Lindy Ruff? So I think they need someone like a Gerard Gallant. I think they need someone like a Mike Babcock personality, not the bad stuff. But someone who's he's going to make sure that they kind of pull together and do their thing, kind of deal. There's a Bruce Boudreau is out there. I mean, I think I said it last week too. I think David Quinn would probably be a good fit for this team just because of his relationship with Jack Eichel from BU. But obviously he's with the Rangers and he has 2 more years on his contract, so we'll see what happens. Although Knobloch's been doing a good job, so who knows with that. But it'll be interesting to see, but I do think they need to just burn the roster. There's a few teams in the NHL I actually think should just completely overhaul their rosters, and they are one of them.
Now, I doubt this would happen, but if they really want to retool that roster, I do think trading Eichel would help because it's kind of like Watson before all of this stuff has happened with him, where if you trade him now, what you're getting back will be the highest that it has basically ever been. What you can get for Eichel will be kind of like what the Rockets got for Harden. You'll get multiple first-round picks. You'll get a young talent. They will capitalize on this trade if they trade Eichel. You'll get at least 2 to 3 first-round picks. I'm sure you'll get a young stud or young prospect, maybe a goaltender. So I think if they do want to retool it, while I would not trade Eichel, but if you do, you will be getting a hell of a return for him.
That's fair.
Yeah, I guess my question for you, Jackie, is this: I would not trade Eichel either. Is he going to reach a point though where he's going to say, "Look, I don't think he would do it publicly, but guys, either you got to fix this soon, or you got to get me out of here because you're just wasting years of my life right now."
I mean, hasn't there been already rumors that he's made comments about?
There has been those rumors, yeah. Someone asked, "Did we trade Vartan?" Yeah, yes, and we got Zach and Jackie back in the deal. So that's a pretty good deal.
That's a good trade. Yeah, there's been plenty of people or plenty of players that have kind of languished a little bit on teams.
Well, shit, Yzerman did it for 8 years. I guess, for example, I feel like the Kings are a good fit for Eichel, because of what they could give the Sabres. They have Byfield, they have Turcotte, they have Bjornfoot, they have multiple high level. I'm talking of the top 100 prospects in hockey, they probably have 9 of them. So they could include 2 or 3 of those guys. They can include a guy who's already ready, and they have plenty of draft picks. So I feel like that could be like. Once again, I don't want to trade Eichel, but if I'm looking to move him somewhere, that could be a place that helps me.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk about is Jonathan Quick's time in LA gone. I mean, that's not a bad turnover. You know, Quick to the Sabres. They need goaltending,
Right,
for sure, and that would solidify the net for at least 2 or 3 years. I would say. You know, Jesper Wallmark is a fantastic goaltender that's available in the draft. So I think it's Jesper. Wallmark though, he played for Sweden in World Juniors. Very good goalie. It'll be. I think Zach's right that if you do trade him, now's the time. I mean, the Rangers didn't trade Lundqvist, and they lost out on the ability to get a lot back for him. And there's been plenty of teams that have done that have held on to guys. And I think there's an Islander John Tavares issue thing. So.
Well, he told the owner he wanted to say that. Yeah. Drink your Kool-Aid.
They're doing quite well with Adam. Thank you very much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Eichel signed for the next 5 years at $10 million. So,
and that's $10 million is fine for him. I mean, he's
fine.
One of the top 5 players in the league, I guess. So, if you're the Sabres, if you were put on your GM cap, Jackie, with the trade deadline less than a month away, what are you doing at the deadline if you're the Sabres GM? Who are you moving?
Oh, I don't even know.
Taylor Hall.
Oh, I would. Yeah, definitely Taylor Hall. I definitely think.
Absolutely.
Taylor Hall definitely. He came to the Sabres for Ralph Kruger. He was very excited to be working with Ralph Kruger again. I was on the call after he signed. I mean, that was like a big key selling point was Ralph for him. And playing with Jack Eichel and playing, I think the promise at the time was Jeff Skinner would be their wingman, but like we all know that didn't really work out too well. So I would definitely trade Taylor Hall because he's also on a 1-year deal.
Right.
He's gonna walk.
Yeah. Eric Stahl is another guy. Even I would even consider Sam Reinhart. You know, he's restricted.
Montador is a UFA at the end of the year. You can get something for him.
Ristolainen.
You could probably. The problem is that like Jeff Skinner has like a high deal.
Oh yeah, Jeff Skinner you're stuck with unless you can get him to Seattle somehow.
Yeah, well,
and he's got a no move as well.
Yeah, the expansion draft is going to be quite interesting to see what happens with a lot of teams. I think that'll impact a lot of deals or non-deals when the time comes.
What about Rasmus Ristolainen?
He does good things. He doesn't do great things.
He has offensive ability. He has offensive. I feel like, if you're a scout, you might be like, okay, if I can just get him away from Buffalo, maybe we can fix him a little bit. And there's like 6 or 7 guys in that Sabres roster you might feel that way about.
Yeah,
there's a lot of players on that roster that you could feel that way about.
I think Casey Middlestat needs to get out of Buffalo.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. I think Kyle Oposo probably needs to get out of Buffalo.
Unfortunately, with that deal, that's gonna be tough to move him too.
Yeah,
that could be a Seattle deal.
Yeah, he's probably a Seattle guy, to be honest, Kyle.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's perfect good for Seattle.
Yeah.
He's kind of like that James Neal with Vegas a couple of years ago, if he goes to Seattle.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of touched upon one of the big losers of the league, which really no one thought anything going into this year, but kind of almost at the midway point of the season. And let's just kind of talk about our winners and losers so far. We each get a player and a team. Dan, want to go first?
Sure. Okay, so we'll start with, since we were just talking about Sabres, we'll talk about losers, or I went with disappointments, and they're both the same. The player is on the team I'm going to focus on. It's the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, if you look at the record, they have a winning record, but they have just, they had expectations this year. They were supposed to take a step forward this year, and they are just a mess, an absolute disaster in their own end. And I just don't know what to make of this roster because there's talent up and down this roster. They should not be this bad defensively, especially with Alain Vigneault as their coach. And it's not just the defensemen playing bad. They're not playing any defense as a team. The forwards aren't helping out. The centers outside of Couturier always does his job, but outside of that, the forwards are not helping out. And so that leads to the player who I was expecting huge things from this year is Carter Hart. And I don't think he's this bad. And I think the team in front of him is a partially a reflection of his season, but at the same time, he has regressed a little. I don't want to write him off by any means. The guy is amazing. He's young. He has tons of talent, but there's just something wrong there. And I just expected so much more from both player and team. So I have those two as my losers. My winners, I have Aaron Ekblad as my winner of the Panthers. He is really look. He came in as first overall draft pick. He's been a very good player most of his career. He had some concussion issues, but this year he's taken that next step to franchise defenseman. He probably won't win the Norris Trophy this year because that's not how it works. We know how that is, voters. I'm looking. But it's probably hard to predetermine who wins the Norris, but he has done what they needed him to do. He's gone from very good player to franchise defenseman, and moving forward, he's still young. He's only 25 years old. You have to be ecstatic if you're a Panther fan. And finally, for teams, a team that's pretty much I've considered boring since their inception is finally fun to watch, and that's the Minnesota Wild. You have Kirill Kaprizov, who leads all rookies in points. You have Matt Zuccarello, who's healthy and has been very good there. Jordan Greenway's emerged. Joel Eriksson Ek has emerged. You know they've been good on defense. They've been good between the pipes, and they're just fun to watch. They're playing with a lot of energy, and they're scoring. So that's something that normally they would win their games 1-0, 2-1. This team is fun to watch. If you're not watching the Wild, you should. So that's who I got.
All right, cool. Zach, what do you got?
Well, I agree with team-wise for Dan with Wild. I honestly did not expect them to only be 4 points behind, I think, was it the Avalanche for first place in the division. How do you say the guy's name? Kaprizov?
Kirill Kaprizov.
Kaprizov, I mean, he's been out of this world. He's been carrying that team. The goaltending hasn't been half bad either. For my player winner, though, I have Mikko Rantanen. I think that he has been great this year. I know McKinnon has missed a couple games, but I mean, Rantanen has been fantastic this year. I really did think Cale Makar was going to be second on that team in points. I know he's a defenseman, but I did not think that Rantanen was going to be like this year. He's been fantastic. And then for losers, my player is John Tavares. That contract is terrible for Toronto. He's been awful for Toronto, even though Toronto's been one of the best teams in the league this year. Well, was one of the best teams in the league a couple weeks ago. But, I mean, he's been terrible. Matthews has been great. And then losers, I had Philly as one and Nashville as the other. Nashville has been, to me, pretty disappointing this year. There's been rumors of Matthias Ekholm possibly getting traded, and that'll be one of a couple years ago, those like 4 great defensemen with Ellis, Yossi, Subban, Ekholm. 2 of them will be gone. I'm sure a third one will be on their way, and Yossi will be the last one left. But to me, Philly and Nashville have both been disappointing this year.
Yeah. All right, good one, Zach. All right, Jackie.
All right, so my surprise team, or my team that I'm most surprised by, is the Chicago Blackhawks. No one expected this team to be anywhere near the playoffs whatsoever. They expected them to be in the bottom of the barrel when it came to their division, and instead they're actually sitting in 4th place in a playoff spot, and a lot of it has to do with Patrick Kane. But it's really surprising considering they lost Jonathan Toews, they lost Kirby Dach. We have no idea when either one of them is coming back, although I think Kirby's is a little closer to coming back now after breaking his wrist at World Juniors. But no one expected this team to do anything that they're doing. Everyone suspected they had suspect goaltending. They didn't have any firepower, and instead they're getting it from guys like Suter and Delia, like names you never would expect to be able to do it with the Blackhawks. My surprise player. So I will say the rest of my choices are Canadian based. Obviously, as a reporter that focuses a little bit more on the Canadian teams. My surprise player is actually Tyson Barrie, the defenseman for the Oilers. He has emerged this year. There was a lot of question marks regarding his play in Toronto last year with the Maple Leafs. A lot of people were questioning, he came in as this offensive defenseman. Everyone knew he was kind of like a rising star in his years in Colorado. He gets to the Maple Leafs, and he didn't really put together what they were expecting from him. And now he's in Edmonton. He's playing with McDavid. He's playing with Draisaitl. He's having a Norris Trophy worthy season right now. He's number 2, I believe, among defensemen in scoring. He has 30 points. He's put 14 of those on the power play. He's already surpassed his power play number from last year in Oregon. They played already to this point. It's his first plus minus in like almost 6 or 7 years. He's having a fantastic year. I will also say that I think Darnell Nurse is also having
I was going to say that.
Norris Trophy worthy season. Darnell Nurse is a force on the blue line for the Oilers. And probably could have put the Oilers as a surprise because, you really thought, no disrespect to Mike Smith, but no one expected Mike Smith to be playing as well as he's playing.
It's still Mike Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
And we'll see how things go because when he was with the Flames, he was good down the stretch, and then he kind of.
We've read this book before, Jackie.
Yeah.
So what he did,
he'll turn back into a pumpkin.
So we'll see what happens, but my surprise loser team is actually the Flames. Speaking of, I actually had them at least in like the second or third spot, if I remember correctly, for the North Division. I thought they would be a lot better than they are. Got Jacob Markstrom, who I'm always speaking highly of. He is a Vezina Trophy guy. He was 4th in Vezina Trophy voting last year. We don't vote for Vezinas, by the way. That's by I think the GMs. He's a all-star, Jacob Markstrom. He is a fantastic goaltender. They got Chris Tanev, and you could see that Quinn Hughes without Chris Tanev has struggled.
Right.
And you see the importance of Chris Tanev. Now, I did my power rankings for the Canadian division, for the North Division, and Chris Tanev was my MVP for the first half for the Flames. He is a stud on the blue line. He's a shutdown guy, and he's getting it done. He didn't have a great play tonight or this afternoon or whatever. Like 5 o'clock, they played local in East Coast
That's start time. Yeah.
Yeah. He is a shutdown guy for them. But the problem with the Calgary Flames is they have no scoring, which is shocking when you have Johnny Gaudreau and Sean Monahan and
Matthew Tkachuk.
And you have Kyle Lucic who can throw it in there. You have Sam Bennett when he's playoff Sam Bennett being a stud.
Right.
Yeah. So it's surprising. However, I will say that I do respect the fact that Darryl Sutter walked in, and I like Jeff Ward. I like dealing with Jeff Ward. He just never seemed as a head coach material to me, unfortunately, and I think he lost the room. Darryl Sutter, though, has walked in and said, we don't have scoring. He's like not oblivious to the fact that this team doesn't have scoring. So I kind of respect the fact that Darryl's walked in and said that this team can't score. We know we can't score, so we have to play shutdown. Now, granted, they lost like four of 6 or whatever the weird number is. The Senators, not great, but the Senators are a very hardworking team. They could also be a surprising team this year, right? Everyone expected them to kind of roll over. However, I will say my disappointing player is actually Matt Murray. I thought Matt Murray was going to be a solid goaltender in net for the Senators, but he has looked terrible. And he comes with a pedigree. He's won 2 cups. It wasn't like he won 2 cups on the bench. He was a starter for one of those cups at least. And he was a little bit for I think the other one when Fleury went down. So I was shocked that he has been as poor as he has been this year.
He also had a different roster in Pittsburgh too with great players.
I'm not disagreeing, but I just felt like he could have been more of a solid. See, there's goals that he should, in my opinion, should have been stopping that he hasn't.
No, yeah, I'll agree. His number's been terrible this year.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So my surprising team is Florida Panthers, and they're like the Blackhawks. No one expected much from them. They made the bubble last year. Got disposed by the Islanders. Fairly quickly. Joel Quenneville, front runner for Jack Adams Award. He's been fantastic. You mentioned Aaron Ekblad, who's Aaron Ekblad of old. Healthy. He's got 10 goals, 10 assists. Probably should be in the Norris discussion. Bob's been great this year. Chris Dreiger. So they definitely have our old friend Carter Verhaeghe. Got 12 goals, 12 assists. He's been fantastic. getting a little bit even from Weinberg. Wenberg, who's been fairly good.
Weinberg,
Weinberg, yeah, exactly.
The drummer for Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, exactly, Max Weinberg, yeah.
Max Weinberg, yeah.
Max Weinberg 7, yeah, exactly. But yeah, so they've been fantastic, and they're hovering around. They're a few points behind the Lightning. So
6.
What's that?
6 points behind the Lightning.
Okay, a few times 3, a few times 2. So they'll be fine. They'll make the playoffs this year, and even likely get a 2 seed in home ice advantage. Which fans, no fans, doesn't matter to the Panthers because they're never there. Yeah, exactly. My surprise player, it's players. It's the Islander goaltending. No one really thought. Everyone was down on Varlamov. I would say no one expected him to be as good as he is again this year. And he was the Islanders MVP for the first couple of weeks of the season. He carried the team. Sorokin was fantastic after his first 2 games. He didn't have a preseason, getting used to the ice, the North American ice, but he's been fantastic. And they're like 1A, 1B. So you can basically play either one of them. There's no backup. And I think they're probably the best goaltending tandem in the league right now. You mentioned loser team, Dan. That's who I'm going with also, the Philadelphia Flyers. Who knows what they're going to do at the deadline? I know they've been taking a lot of calls. They're kind of in limbo.
They are.
You don't know if they're going to sell or buy. They're always active. So I don't know what they're going to do because they have some pieces they could move.
Right.
Hart's been disappointing where he's supposed to be breaking out this year. My loser, Zach, you kind of stole my thunder a little bit, so I won't say him. But I'm going a different route, Anders Lee. Not because he's disappointing. It's just disappointing that he's going to miss out on another playoff run. He missed out 5 years ago when the Islanders made the second round for the first time in 23 years. Unfortunately, was having a career year this year. Was at 12 goals. He's a force in front of the net. He's going to miss out. The Islanders haven't replaced him yet. I'm sure Lou Lamoriello will. The deadline is a couple weeks away. It's just disappointing that he's going to miss out again. That's why I went that route. Not that I'm disappointed in the player. I'm disappointed that he's out missing.
So I take the Tavares spotlight.
And Tavares, 9 goals. He should be, that's a little more than $1 million per goal. And that's
the problem is, I think he only has like 3 of them in even strength.
Exactly. When a couple years ago, he led the league in even strength goals.
Yeah, there's just if you're a Maple Leafs fan, you're concerned. Look, he's still almost a point a game, and that's fine. But you're not paying him $11 million to be a point a game player.
No, absolutely. I know they have other scorers, but you need him. Yeah,
you have other guys that are scoring. And they have other voices in that room right now, which is the key.
Right.
Him struggling can be hidden on this team.
And it can be. Not in the playoffs, though.
Yeah.
But hopefully by then he can fix it. But if he was struggling on any other team, it would be a big hole, and it would be more flashing red lights than it is. I think if that's fair to say, because they have Austin Matthews, they have Mitch Marner, they have William Nylander, they have they have Joe Thornton, and they have they just got Wayne Simmons back, so they have guys that can put the puck in the net.
Yeah, and of course, every couple months you always get an article from some Toronto columnist about what he was, and this week was Steve Simmons.
Yeah,
basically saying he's not worth the contract. Probably the first time I actually agreed with the guy. So,
all right, let's get to trivia. Jackie gets to try and defend her crown. Now, I will say, you guys, Jackie missed no questions last week. No, only missed 1. Get this right. So we bumped the difficulty up a little this week. Okay, this is not your brother's trivia. This is going to be a little bit harder, I think. Categories are book smarts. I'm going to read you I'm going to read you a autobiography. You're going to tell me the athlete that wrote it.
You're going to read the whole book?
Not the whole book. No.
Oh, okay.
Hockey abbreviations. Cinderella stories. Cinderella stories are great upsets in sports. Now announcing is athletes who became announcers or analysts. And race to the finish, I'm going to name you a Finnish-born hockey player with their achievements. You're going to tell me who they are. All the answers are players who are Finnish-born.
Wait, what's hockey abbreviations again? Is it just like...
It's different abbreviations in hockey. Could be a statistic, could be a league, something like that.
Okay.
Once again, you each choose 2 from each point denomination, and whoever has the most points wins. If we are tied, I have a tiebreaker question ready. So, Jackie, since you won, and Noel, it's your birthday, Jackie will go first.
Oh.
I'm going to go hockey abbreviations for 1 point, please.
All right.
I feel pressure with last week.
All right. You can't score without these. SOG.
Shots on goal.
That's correct. All right. Go ahead, Noel.
I'll go Cinderella story for 100, Alex.
I wish I was Alex. Shit. All right. Considered one of the greatest upsets in sports history, this country defeated the mighty Soviet Union at the 1980 Winter Olympics in Lake Placid.
United States of America.
That is correct.
Good job, Ted.
I was only 6 months old, though, so I didn't know.
Yeah. I was almost 5.
Noel was 13.
Okay. I was driving around.
All right, Jackie, you were up.
I'll do race to the finish for 1.
All right. Nicknamed the Finnish Flash, he is the all-time leader in goals and points by Finnish-born player. He holds the record for most goals by a rookie when he scored 76 goals during the 92-93 season, and he led his country to 4 Olympic medals.
Team Solani.
That is correct. All right, Noel, you're up.
All right, I'll do race to the finish for 2.
Race to the finish for 2.
Yeah, you have to take the same category.
This Finn was Wayne Gretzky's wingman for most of his career, which saw him post 7 straight seasons of 40-plus goals. While he was known as one of the best snipers of his generation, he is actually the leader in assists by a Finnish-born player.
Gary Curry.
That is correct. All right, Jackie.
Okay, I'll do hockey abbreviations for 3.
Hockey abbreviations for 3. Très bien. QMJHL.
Quebec Junior Major Hockey League.
Quebec Major Junior Hockey League is correct.
Dad, would you have gotten that?
Shut up, Zach.
All right. Score is 5-3, Jackie, right now.
All right, I will do hockey abbreviations for 2.
All right. Hockey abbreviations for 2. GAA, the lower the better.
Goals against average.
That is correct. We are tied at 5.
Shit. Sorry.
Rangers joining the chat.
I just almost knocked my dog out. All right, let's do hockey abbreviations for 4.
All right.
I want to hear story time from Dan and Booksmarts.
Hockey abbreviations for 4. Season-long tracker, ATOI.
Average time on ice.
That is correct. Noel.
Okay, I will go now announcing for 1.
Now announcing for 1. All right. Serving as the team's primary starter from 2006 to 2015, this quarterback led the Cowboys to 4 postseason appearances and was named to the Pro Bowl 4 times. Upon retiring, he was hired by CBS Sports to become the lead color analyst alongside Jim Nantz for their NFL telecasts.
Tony Romo.
That is correct. All right.
I'll do race to the finish for 3.
Race to the finish for 3.
Right? Am I doing this right? Okay.
Don't let this name fool you. This Finn was the second overall pick in the 2003 NHL draft and is widely considered one of the best two-way players in the league and was the Lady Byng Award winner for the 18-19 season.
18-19 season. Wait, what was the first part? Don't let this name fool you.
Don't let this name fool you. This Finn was the second overall pick in the 2003 NHL draft and is widely considered one of the best two-way players in the league. And what's that?
Is it Alexander Barkov?
It is Alexander Barkov, Russian name, Finnish hockey player.
That's what, okay. Now I get why you said that. Okay.
He wasn't drafted in 2003. He was 2013.
2013.
Oh, I thought you said 2003.
No, nobody who was. No, just kidding. Joe Thornton was still living. Joe Thornton and I are the same age, so I have a mighty amount of respect for Joe Thornton.
Yeah.
He's a month older than.
All right. I will do now announcing for 3.
Now announcing for 3.
Oh, big money.
Now announcing for 3. As quarterback for the Chargers, this future analyst led the NFL in passing yards 4 straight seasons from 79 to 82 and became the first player to throw for 4,000 yards in 3 consecutive seasons. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1993 and became a color analyst for NFL games on CBS.
Dan Fouts.
That is correct.
Yeah, I definitely would not have gotten that.
Same.
I'll do Race to the Finish 4.
Race to the finish for 4. This goalie is second all-time in wins by Finnish-born player with 319. He was the first Finn to win the Vezina Trophy at the completion of the 05-06 season.
05-06. Oh.
Second all-time in wins by Finnish-born goalie and first Finn to win the Vezina.
I'm really bad with my 2000s in terms of hockey. I don't know why. 2000s. Who would have been a goalie back then? Oh, Mika Kiprusoff?
That is correct. Noel, you are up.
I was Pecorine, but I was like, there's no way. He's not old enough.
Yeah, I will go now announcing for 4.
Now announcing for 4. After attending Southeastern Louisiana University, this athlete became a co-anchor on Good Morning America in 2005. Though she was inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in 2012, her biggest victory was beating cancer, a journey which was widely chronicled and earned her a 2012 Peabody Award for the coverage.
Robin Roberts.
That is correct.
Good job, Dad.
Thanks, son.
All right, Jackie, you are up.
All right, hockey abbreviations for 5, please.
All right. Quick on the draw. OFO.
Face-off?
What's that?
Offensive face-off?
Oh.
Wait.
That your final answer?
Go for it.
OFO.
Yeah. I don't think that's right, though. I don't really know that one.
Offensive zone face-offs 1.
Oh.
That's incorrect.
But it... Okay, fine, whatever.
I'm sorry, it's incorrect. Believe me, I want you to be normal.
You should have said, when Alex says, can you be more specific? Or more...
Like you said before, he's not Alex.
I'm not... That was funny.
Thanks.
What was it? Offensive what? Offensive
zone face-offs 1.
Obviously offensive zone when I said offensive, whatever. I'm listening because it's no correct.
She should get half the points.
The judges say no.
Okay. All right.
I went to the judges. They said no.
Yeah. All right. Now announcing for 5.
Now announcing.
I think I heard the judges say something off mic earlier, a hot mic. Saying
yeah, they did. They absolutely did. Okay, now announcing. This golf pro spent over 200 weeks in the top 10 of the official World Golf Rankings. He was the winner of consecutive U.S. Open titles in 88 and 89 and became the first golfer to win $1 million in a season before becoming the lead golf analyst at ABC and a course reporter for Fox in 2016.
Oh, shit. Can you repeat the question?
Sure. This golf pro spent over 200 weeks in the top 10 of the official World Golf Rankings. He was the winner of consecutive U.S. Open titles in 88 and 89 and became the first golfer to win $1 million in a season before becoming the lead golf analyst for ABC and a course reporter for Fox.
88, 89.
There's World Golf Rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Can I if he doesn't get it?
What's that?
Can I make a guess if he doesn't get it?
Of course you can make a guess, yes, if he doesn't get it, yep.
Larry Mize.
That's a good guess. Jackie, what would yours be?
I'm going to guess Andy North, but I don't think that's right because he was a big ESPN guy, so that might not be right.
The correct answer is Curtis Strange.
Yeah, Dad, you should have got that one. Come on.
Shut up, Zach.
Okay. The score right now is 16-13, Jackie.
Okay, I'll do race to the finish for 5.
Race to the finish for 5. All right, it's a big one. Known for being a complete player, this Finn was a key to the great Dallas Stars teams of the late 90s. The three-time Selke winner had 7 seasons of 20-plus goals and is second all-time in plus-minus by a player from Finland with an eye-popping plus 176.
I want to say Yuri Lehtinen, but I think he was a defenseman, so I don't think that's right.
That is correct. Yuri Lehtinen is correct.
Is it really?
Yes.
I don't think Shirley pressed enter on that.
It was a quick guess.
Yeah, wow.
It was a quick whistle.
Quick whistle. Jeez. Okay, they didn't have possession of the puck there. Okay.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You got it right. You said I heard the name. I didn't hear anything after that. You broke up a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi player really bad.
Yeah. Throw a challenge for that. All right.
It's so clear that I don't want Noel to win, even on his birthday.
Yeah, I hate you guys. All right. Cinderella story for 3.
Cinderella story for 3. All right. In 2007, this football championship subdivision school shocked the nation as they defeated the 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines in the Big House by a score of 34-32.
Appalachian State?
Yes.
All right. I'll do book smarts. I think I need 2, right? 2 pointers?
Let's see. You have you're done with 3. You have 2 2s.
Okay, so I'll do book smarts for 2.
Story time.
Book smarts for 2.
I'm nervous. This is like the first question in this category.
This 8-time Grand Slam champion and 1996 gold medalist was the first male player to win 4 Australian Open titles. His 2009 autobiography, Open, details lives with his unconventional Armenian father, who came to the U.S. from Iran, where he was a professional boxer.
Andre Agassi.
That is correct.
Okay.
I don't know.
Noel,
he loves Martin.
Noel, you have a 5 and a 4, it looks like.
I do. I will take Cinderella for 4.
Cinderella for 4. Okay. All right. Wait a second. Okay. This true Cinderella became the first team from the Colonial Athletic Association to make it to the Final Four in the 2006 NCAA tournament. As an 11 seed, they shocked the number 1 overall seed UConn at the East Regional Final.
I have a guess on this one.
George Mason.
Yes! Nice, Noel!
I didn't think he was going to get that.
That was nice!
Wait, do you remember who the coach was?
No.
Was it George Laranda? Yeah.
Oh!
And where is he from?
I have no idea.
Pretty sure he's from Brooklyn. The same.
Okay. I tried to make these questions harder. You guys have only missed the combined 2 questions.
Because we're old and we watch a lot of sports.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie, you were up. You have 2-point question here.
Ooh. All right, Zach, where should I go? I'm going to do now announcing because I don't think I know Cinderella stories that well. And Miracle on Ice was number 1 already. So now I will say this.
Right.
If the Cinderella story question was UMBC, I am an America East player, so I would have been.
Okay, 2-point question. This team had an amazing run during the summer of 1969, and it concluded in the fall as they beat the heavily favored Baltimore Orioles to capture their first World Series championship.
Cinderella story or now announcing?
Oh, sorry, that was Cinderella story. I read the wrong one.
That's the Mets, but yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I did not do that on purpose, Noel. That was an accident.
It's okay.
It's all right.
You want to still ask me the now announcing one? I'll let it slide.
No. That one goes back in the mix.
All right.
I just screwed up and read the wrong question.
Everyone's against me. All right.
There we go.
All right. What do I have left here? A 5. Oh, that's it. A 5. Okay. Cinderella story for 5.
Okay. And this is the last question. This is brutal.
What's the score?
It's 25-20, Jackie.
Oh.
You have to answer this to tie. Are you ready, Noel?
Oh, thanks, Court. Face still New York City.
I wish I could see your face. I have to look down to read this, but I want to see your face when you see the topic of this question.
Oh, God.
Nearly regulated the season. What?
Nearly
regulated the season before. This Premier League team was given a 5,000 to 1 chance to win the league for the 15-16 campaign. Defying these odds, the team captured its first Premier League title on May 2nd, 2016. You should know this.
Oh, I should. Yeah, absolutely.
This is a very famous story. It's maybe the greatest Cinderella of all time.
I think I actually do know this one because.
Can I guess, even though it's completely wrong, probably?
Wait till your dad answers.
And after I go.
Would you like to hear it again?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Nearly relegated the season before, this Premier League team was given a 5,000 to 1 chance to win the league for the 15-16 campaign. Defying these odds, the team captured its first Premier League title on May 2nd, 2016.
Can you read it again?
No, I can't.
I know the answer. I think.
I'll ask Zach first, and then we'll ask Jackie. If Noel gets this wrong.
Wait, I think mine's definitely so wrong.
5,001 odds, nearly relegated, win the Premier League.
Isn't it like starts with an
They're
L?
a good team now. What's that?
It's like Learcaster or something like that.
You need to be more specific. You're really close, but it's not close to the pronunciation.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Give it to you, and you know what I mean. You don't have the full name either.
Leicester City or something like that, right? Or
okay. It's Leicester City.
Leicester. Okay.
Do we get? What's that?
I thought it was Man.
I'm gonna ask Jackie. I'm gonna ask Zach. Your dad butchers pronunciations all the time. Give that to him.
It's his birthday. You can give it to him.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Because I know what you were trying to say.
Okay.
All right.
So
we're going to the tiebreaker. Do you guys have a pen and piece of paper near you?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
All right. Get ready to write this down.
Dad, go to the whiteboard.
The closest to the correct answer wins. Okay.
Okay.
Wait, is there math involved? I don't do math.
No math involved. No. The tiebreaker question is, what is the most goals in an NHL game combined for two teams?
Regular season or playoffs?
Regular season. You guys are each going to write down an answer. The closest to the correct answer you can go over will be dubbed winner.
Okay, hold on.
I must say, you two are just, this is like Clash of the Titans each week. You both missed one question. Unbelievable. And I thought I made them harder this week.
What was the question I missed again?
Oh, face-off, offensive zone face-offs.
That's bullshit, because obviously an offensive face-off is an offensive zone face-off, but whatever.
Should have got half the points. I got half the answer. Should have got half the points.
Shut up, Zach. Okay. What did you guys ready to reveal? You guys are ready to reveal your answers?
I'm just waiting for a piece of paper.
Oh, you're waiting for a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Zach, go get your father a piece of paper.
That's fine.
Word?
Yeah, go to the whiteboard. That's right.
Hold on, Abby's sending me a piece of paper.
Okay. Are they making it from the tree?
I need a number 2 pencil for this.
All right.
I'll give you my number 3.
Okay.
All right. Let's reveal your answers. We got 22. Is that 30? Is that 21?
21.
The correct answer is 21.
Bullshit.
Noel has vanquished Jackie, and I feel like there needs to be a no-holds-barred rematch next week.
Yeah, I agree.
And Amy and I are going to go deep into the lab to really have to make this even harder.
Can we do the rest of the questions on here?
Of course we can. We'll ask them to Zach, but they're open for anyone.
Oh, no, not these book smart questions.
Let's start with Book Smarts number 1. Although I could save that category for another time. So, no, I'm not going to give you those questions. It's a lot of work. I'm saving those.
Okay.
All right. So we're just going to give you –
I also know that I'm proud of myself that I was literally like –
we're going to give you now announcing for 2.
Okay.
Dubbed Mr. Baseball by talk show host Johnny Carson, this ex-catcher went on to serve as play-by-play announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers radio broadcast since 1971, a position he still holds to this day. He was honored by the National Baseball Hall of Fame with its 2003 Ford C. Frick Award in recognition of his long broadcasting career.
Bob Uecker.
Jackie, you know the answer.
She just gave
Jackie knows.
Bob Uecker.
Bob Uecker is correct.
It's the first time I've ever heard that name before.
Oh, you you have not had a good childhood. Then Noel has failed you partially as a father.
You have never watched Mr. Belvedere.
No.
Major League, we watched.
You've seen Major League.
That's
No, I haven't.
You've never seen Major League.
No.
Parts of it.
Noel, you have do something with this child.
No.
I can't be on this show anymore. I'm sorry.
I don't
Yeah,
think I can
you'll
either.
be back next week when we can't find Bartan.
We should have like a Where is Michael Vartan segment every week.
We could do that. Yes, it's like Carmen San Diego.
This is basically season 5 of Alias. Where is Michael Vartan?
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh.
That was nice.
Let's not shame. He for those Michael is in the process of moving, and it's moving sucks. So once he's all settled, he'll be back.
He may attract.
Although it seems like he's been Wally pipped by Jackie.
Yeah.
So good show, everybody.
What was that Cinderella story? What was that one?
Birthday, Noel.
That was Leicester City.
That was
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Birthday, Noel.
Appreciate it. I appreciate Dan for accepting my butcher name right there. But
I knew what you were trying to say.
yeah, you knew. I mean, that's credit. I mean, come on. All right, guys, subscribe to the channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter.
Jackie, where can we follow you again?
Jackie Spiegel 93 and I'm at Sporting News in Sporting News Canada. So you can see all the hockey. I write a lot of hockey. I write a lot of Blue Jays, Raptors, curling.
No paywalls either. You can read it without paywall.
Read it without the paywall. There's no
Yes.
paywall. Yep. You can find me on Twitter and I link to a lot of stuff. So come hang out.
And Zach, what about you, buddy? Where can we find you?
Where do you
Find him in the club.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to answer that or no?
Fogelman Zach on Twitter. There you go.
All right, great. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Zach follows me on Twitter.
I have to change it.